Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome back to the Sacred Connections podcast, our journey through holistic and spiritual well-being. I'm Tanya Morrissey and proudly your spiritual mentor. And today I am joined by the beautiful Ciara Ashwell, who is the founder of Awaken. Ciara, she is a profound energy healer. We're talking multidimensional healing, galactic healing. She's a Reiki master, Rahini master. I also learned that she does sound, one-on-ones, group, and I'm just so excited to dig into her brain to just learn about dimensional healing, especially, and galactic healing. So just Ciara, thank you so much for joining me today and for sharing your wisdom with us.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
And did I miss anything there in regards to what you share, what you teach, what you offer?
No, that's pretty much it. Yeah, you pretty much covered it. And yeah.
You're a profound energy healer. And that was one of the first things that just completely drew me to you, and your authenticity especially. And so what I would like to ask you then is, because you are so deeply connected to the energetics and the star seeds and again all those beautiful dimensional energies, have you always had that connection from early childhood, or when did it be, when did your awareness start to grow?
Do you know what? It's so funny because I barely have any memories of my childhood. I would chat to my siblings and they'd be like, remember we done that? And I'm like, literally have no memory. I was never a child who, from what I can remember anyway, would have seen spirits. My 3 young children now literally see my father-in-law who's passed away. And I never remember being like that. But I did always have a very, very strong connection to the angels. I always just remember just feeling their presence more. I'm more claircognizance and clairsentience, which means I just sense and I just know. There would be my strongest clair. So I was always aware of the Angelic's presence around me. Then when I got kind of into my teenage years, that's when the galactic stuff started coming in. So I remember, I'm 46 now. So in the 90s, I was a teenager. And if you remember back in the 90s, you're probably too young for this, but all the UFO stuff started coming out and all the programs and the X-Files and all of these different programs. And there was the Area 51 talk and all. And I remember really clearly, and this is the one memory I do have, I remember the adults and all talking about the UFOs and saying it was utter nonsense and all this, it was rubbish and all. And I remember being so confused, thinking, what do you mean there's no other beings? Of course there's other beings. And I remember, and it's probably the one memory I have as an early teenager, just looking up at the sky going, why don't they believe yous are real? And I remember that very clearly. So yeah, I was never one to see spirits and stuff as a child, but the angelic connection was always there and the galactic connection was always there for sure, especially in my teenage years. So
wow, that's so interesting. The fact that even those around you, and when we're growing up, we tend to believe, say, our parents and just, adults that we trust, they help us form these ideas about life. And for you to even from that young age to be no, I'm
so confused. Sure. I was like, what is wrong with you? Why are you saying that? I just remember being really confused about it. Go, why are you saying that? Of course they're real. Of course they're up there. And just being more confused about it, I suppose, than anything else. So yeah, that was my earlier years for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. And was there then a specific moment then? Did you ever have an encounter where you did get to meet an angel or a galactic being of some kind?
Yeah, well, the Galactics only came in for me really in the last probably 7 years. But when I was in my later 20s, I think it was about 25, 26, was the first time I had an angelic that I can remember. As I said, I might have had them when I was younger, but it's not something I remember. I just remember always knowing they were there and feeling them. I never remember seeing them. But when I was about 25, I was starting to go through this breakup. And that was when Archangel Michael appeared to me. And that was the very first time I've actually physically seen an angel. And that's that was the first of my big spiritual awakenings was, when he appeared to me when I was in my mid-20s. So, and it was so funny. He was just so familiar to me. So I'd obviously I obviously had seen him before, but I can never remember, if that makes sense. But I just remember him just being so familiar. And he told me he was my guide and he was my protector. And it wasn't time to leave the relationship yet, that we still had a soul contract that wasn't finished, but he was with me and he was going to be my guide on my healing journey. Yeah, that's kind of everything changed after that.
Wow.
Yeah.
And like, did this happen in like an awakened state? Were you awake? Was it in your dreams? Like,
I was in that half awake, half asleep stage. So, and that's actually when I get a lot of my galactic visits and activations now. I'm not awake and I'm not asleep. It's that in between stage. So that's when it kind of tends to happen to me. Like I've such a busy mind. I find it and you have to quieten your mind to connect in. But my mind is so busy during the day. So at nighttime, when your mind is just, you're not awake, but you're not asleep. And that's how they can connect in so easily. So it was that type of a thing, so I could physically see him with my eyes, but I wasn't fully awake.
yeah. And so for those that are hearing multi-dimensional healing for the first time, like how would you describe what it is and how it works?
Okay, so multidimensional healing. So it's not physical, it's not just a physical healing, it's a healing on all levels. So it's a healing on your physical, emotional, mental, etheric, all different levels, but also all timelines, all dimensions. So you're healing, like you'd be healing past lives from not just your earthly past lives, but your galactic past lives, your different timelines. So it's multidimensional. I actually have my own multidimensional healing that was channeled to me by my galactic guides called Cosmic Diamond Healing, which I just launched back in January. So that would be your typical multidimensional healing. So we would go into, because we remember, I'll just give you an example. I had a client there just recently, and which came to, she had, like, I'd know by somebody if they're a healer, like I know just by their energy. And she had done some courses and stuff, but she just didn't have the confidence to go out and do it yet. And that's why she was coming to me for a healing, because she just felt there was some type of block there. So she booked in for a Cosmic Diamond healing. And through the healing, it came in that she was actually an Atlantean priestess that was a very powerful healer. And it was around the time of the fall of Atlantis. And with the fall of Atlantis, people started using a lot of ego started to come in as people started using their gifts for not so good. That's why there was the demise. And she was approached by somebody to use her gifts not for the good. And she refused. And she basically said, that she'd rather shut away her gifts than do that. And she did. And she ended up not surviving the fall of Atlantis. So her soul carried that memory here in her earthly life. So in the earthly life, she was actually afraid to use her gifts because the soul remembered the trauma of that happening before. So that all came through with the healing. So we weren't healing anything physical for her. We were actually healing the multidimensional side of her. So we were healing that galactic lifetime that had made her shut off her gifts, that her soul carried the trauma of that into this lifetime. So that's really what multidimensional healing is in a nutshell.
I suppose like energy doesn't understand time or space.
Absolutely not. Yeah.
And by the sounds of it, that's literally what you explore and dive into during a Cosmic Diamond healing.
Yeah, yeah. And you get that a lot as well. I see a lot of clients carry the witch wound is very similar. So like that in their earthly lifetimes, there would have been a healer called a witch, and they were like orchestrized, brutalized, burnt at the stake. And their soul carries that memory into this lifetime. So they're terrified of opening up their gifts again and using their gifts, and it becomes a block. So again, yeah, it's really, I see that a lot with healers.
Wow. And can everyone access this?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. And like, this is the thing with every soul on this planet has these gifts. Everybody, there's nobody special. We're all healers. We're all channels. We all have our clairs, it's just some people are able to access them easier than others, or for some people, their soul came and for whatever reason, they decided not to access them here. And that's okay. We're all on a different journey, but every soul on the planet, nobody's special. We all have these gifts. Everybody has it. It's just some have it more access than others.
Yeah, I completely agree, because that's literally what I teach even in Reiki training. It's like everyone is a Reiki practitioner. No one's special here. And a lot of time that can seem quite harsh, and I'm just like, no, because it's not about your ego. Like everyone can do this.
Yeah.
It's just for those that are ready to
Yeah.
awaken to that truth, whether that's Reiki, Rahini, and in this case, your cosmic diamond healing. Like everyone has the ability to access their star lineage. And so if people wanted then to explore more of their, I suppose, lineage or, yeah, actually lineage, that's where that comes to mind. How would one begin to explore that path?
Oh, so you mean to find out what their galactic
Where,
lineage is?
yeah, really curious about that.
Yeah. Okay. So, well, I'll take my own experience, I suppose. So, about 7 years ago is when I first kind of had an experience with a galactic being, and it was through I was just deep in meditation. This being came through, was a Lyran being, and when I woke up, I was like, that was so weird. I've never seen anything like that. So, of course, I started researching, and then, as I always say, when the soul is ready, the teacher appears. When you're ready to learn, the teacher appears. So literally instantly, I came across Dolores Cannon, was the first person I came across, and then Debbie Solaris. These are big galactic. Dolores Cannon does the QHTT past life regression, and she talks a lot about the galactics. And Debbie Solaris then is a galactic historian. And almost instantly after having this first meditation, Mary Lyron came through to me. I came across these two ladies and I was just like, oh my God, this just makes so much sense. Like, how did I not know this before? And I started researching all the different star seeds. And so it's like, I always say to somebody, if you feel like it's like a switch gets turned, because not everybody is star seeds. About 25% of the population here on Earth are star seeds. So, we have like 8 billion souls on the planet. And about 20 to 25% are star seeds, and the other 70 to 75 are earth souls. And it just means that an earth soul is just somebody who has only ever had earthly lifetimes. And the star seed then is souls who have just had their galactic lives. So on Earth at the minute, obviously there's more earth souls because we're on planet Earth, but in the multi-universe, there's more star seeds because, so it's actually the earth souls are the minority, not the star seeds, but on Earth at the minute, there's obviously more earth souls. So I say to people, if you're a star seed, at some point, you're going to remember, because that's what you came here. You came here to remember who you are. So at some point in your lifetime, now I'm 46 now. They only first made contact with me 7 years ago. So like I was, well into my late 30s, but that was the time it was meant to happen for me. But when you're a star seed and you have that galactic lineage, it will open for you at some point. So usually in my experience, it's just maybe you're listening to this podcast and you're like, oh my God, this really resonates with me. And you'll start to explore a little bit more. And, for me, they made contact with me through meditation, as I said. And then I just started doing my research. And what I actually went to do then is to find out my own soul's lineage was. I actually I had 4 mentors over the years, and these would be galactic Akashic readers. So these are readers who, you have your Akashic records. So there's readers who just do your earthly lifetimes, and then you have galactic readers who go into your galactic lifetime. So I worked with 4 different people over those 7 or 8 years, and each of them was able to give me the exact step-by-step of my lineage. But I'd already, I knew I had a connection to Andromedan, and because that's the angelic connection. And I knew I had a connection to the angelic realms. And my soul origins are actually from the angelic realms. They're from the Seraphine angelic realms, because I was always obsessed with angels. I knew there was a serious connection because I was dolphin mad as a child. I used to always say that the dolphins were talking to me. The dolphin connection is linked to Sirius and Lemuria. So I knew that connection was there. I just didn't know the step by step, like, okay, my soul went there first and then it went there. And then, so I worked with these 4 mentors over the years to kind of put the pieces of the puzzle together for me. And just things really, like once you start the journey and once things start to unfold and you open yourself up to it, they're able to connect in with you a lot more. And then the visits got more and more. And then my channel opened up more and more then over that time. So I would say to people, if this type of stuff resonates, because for some people, this doesn't resonate at all. And that's okay. It just, it'll only resonate with you if you have that galactic lineage. And if it does, then I would say start doing your research, start looking at all the different star seeds, see which one you're drawn to. And then, yeah, if you want to go further, then book a Galactic Akashic Records reader, and they'll be able to literally tell you. And it's fascinating. And it makes so much sense. You're like, oh, that makes so much sense now. That's why I'm like that or that, So, yeah,
that was literally going to be my next question. Like, what are the benefits then of exploring your galactic lineage?
Well, it's not that there's benefits. It's just you don't have a choice, because really, like when you're a starseed, you came here for a mission. You agreed to come here. That's why we're here. We're not here for any other reason. We don't want to be here. We don't want to be here in this like 3D Earth that has all this drama and all this war. And like, we're not used to that. We came here with a mission. The 25% of us came here with a mission. And your mission, if you're a starseed, your mission is to be here at this time of the Great Awakening, as we're shifting into the new Earth, to be here to help raise the frequency of the planet so we can make the shift into the new Earth. And that could be in whatever way. You don't have to necessarily be a healer as such. Like starseeds, I know some starseeds that are doctors or nurses or, childcare facilitators. You don't have to be a hands-on healer, but you came here with a mission to bring your gifts, because every starseed has their own set of gifts, to bring your gifts to the world to help raise the frequency of the planet. So you don't really have a choice if you're a starseed. Like, if you're a starseed, you will be pushed so much by the other side to like get the finger out and do here what you came here to do. So it kind of just unfolds, but everything is in divine timing. Everything, in my experience, the starseeds now are waking up. Like, I'm from the second wave of starseeds. So you have 3 waves of starseeds. So the first wave was, they came in after the World War. It was around the hippie era, they're the first wave of starseeds. So their mission was just to come in, because Earth badly needed it at the time. We were really headed in the wrong direction. So the first waves came in. They were like the warriors, and they probably had it the hardest, because like at the time, the Earth was in such a state, and, and then the second wave then start of starseeds came in. So the first wave was kind of between the 50s up to like the 70s. Then the second wave of the starseed was from the 70s up to the very late 90s. And then the third wave then is from the 90s up to now. But within that third wave, there was another little wave of the babies that are born since the 20s. And they're all like, those babies that are born since 2020 are like, they're coming in, they've no karma attached. A lot of them have had absolutely no Earth life experience. They're all just galactic beings that are coming in, and they're like the crystal children, the indigos, the diamond children, and they're like so awake and attuned. And they're the waves that came in from kind of 2020. So if you're within those waves, if you're one of the starseeds, it will just unfold and open up at the time that it's supposed to. But there's no getting around it, really. Like, you're not like, you will remember at some point, and you will wake up.
And I really loved when you said there that it doesn't mean you have to be a hands-on healer. That's such a grounded message. And I think a very important message, that like, it's your doctor, the bus driver, like it's whatever way you feel like embodying those gifts and sharing that message.
I've seen a lot of starseeds that are florists. They're putting their gifts and the healing gifts into that type, the creative stuff. So you absolutely don't have to be. I find a lot of the Palladian starseeds are hands-on healers. So most healers that I come across with have that Palladian link. My starseed origin is Palladian. So you would have you have your soul origins and your starseed origins. So your soul origins is where your soul first went to at that moment. It came into existence from source. So we all come from the same place. That's why no soul is above the other. We literally all came from the same place. When your soul first comes into existence from that spark of source or God or the universe, whatever name you have for it, your soul has to go somewhere. So where it first goes is your soul origins. So if you first come to Earth, you're an Earth soul. If you go to one of the galactics or the realms, so for me, I went to the angelic realm. So I'm an angelic. My soul origins are from the angelic realms. But then you will have a starseed origin. And that just means it was the last place that your soul was before you had this earthly lifetime. Okay. And it just means you carry more of that essence, because that's the last place that you were. So even though for me, taken myself as an example, I've had incarnations in Venus, in Andromedan, in Sirius A, Sirius B, but Pallades was the last place I was in before I came here for this lifetime. So I'm classed as a Palladian starseed. So a lot of my human essence would be Palladian. And any Palladian starseeds that I've met are actually hands-on healers. But like a lot of Andromedan starseeds, they would be the ones who would be florists or artists. Like my daughter, my youngest, is an Andromedan starseed, and she is very creative. And like she always says to me, Mommy, my Reiki powers are in my drawings. Like she's only 5. So like you don't have to be, you don't have to be a hands-on healer. You will bring your gifts to the world in whatever way your soul chose to do,
Yeah. And what I was even just thinking about there is like learning that only about 20 to 25% are starseeds, coming down here for the mission of raising the frequency of Earth. That for those that are Earth beings, even just learning about this can help enriching their life experience, that there is more than what meets the eye. We're not the only beings in existence. There is life beyond Earth. And like, as long as we're human, like we are blocked to a degree by our 5 senses, so like we can only understand so much. And like the best thing about this is knowing that we'll never understand everything, but at least just allows you to expand your consciousness, your awareness, your possibility to something beyond yourself.
I will just say as well, Earth souls also have a part to play as well. Like you would have Earth souls that were the Druids or the Celtic priestesses here that have only been on Earth, but they carry all of the ancestral gifts as well. So, Earth souls are playing their part as well in raising the frequency of the planet. They just don't have the galactic link, but they play just as an important role as well. So like every soul on the planet, whether you're an Earth soul or a starseed soul, we're all playing a part in this great awakening, and we all have those gifts. It's not just starseeds that have the gifts. Every single soul has these gifts. So yeah, the Earth souls are playing a big part of it too. So
thank you for sharing that. That is so important. Like I completely agree. And just even when you're saying there about the new Earth, just for those that aren't familiar and they're like, the new what? What's this? How would you describe this awakening?
Yeah. Okay. So when we talk about the new Earth, so people get a bit scared because they're like, oh my God, are we going? Like if people don't go to the new Earth, where are they going to go? We're talking about a state of consciousness when we talk about the 3D, the 4D, the 5D. So Earth has always been a 3D planet. Okay. And when we talk about 3D, that's like, you're stuck in the matrix. There's the fear. It's all of this stuff is happening. The 5D where Earth is heading to, we're going, and this shift, by the way, has been taking a very long time. It's not something that happens overnight. The shift began way back in 2012, and they reckon it's probably going to take well into the 2030s for the full shift to happen. So it is a slow process because obviously our bodies couldn't physically, as the frequency is rising and our bodies are responding to that, if it happens too quick, we just combust. Like we just wouldn't be able to. So it's a very slow shift. So when we talk about the new Earth is the planet in 5D consciousness, but it's just a state of consciousness. Okay. It's not like we're going to a new Earth or, when we talk about it is a higher state of consciousness. So we're going like that 3D consciousness is fear and worry and, anxiety and war and all of this, and the 5D consciousness is literally just pure love, 5D abundance. It's just a higher state of consciousness. And that's what we talk about when we talk about the new Earth.
And do you think that'll help reduce what's currently going on Earth?
Yeah, there will be not every soul on Earth is going to shift into the new Earth consciousness. There are some souls that are going to stay in the 3D. It's very hard to explain because you're getting into like timelines and stuff now. And it is hard. If you're very new to this and you're listening and it's very new to this, it's kind of a hard concept to grasp. Obviously, if you're a little bit more aware of these topics, you'll understand it. But there are going to be a lot of souls that will stay in that 3D frequency. Okay. So in their world, in their consciousness, there's going to be still the fear and all the wars and all this. But when you're in the higher state of consciousness, it's just not in your timeline.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Oh, you're explaining it very well. Like really, like I always just love coming from the point of view of someone, even though I've actually heard and I've explored a lot of this already. I just love asking the questions from like even just
Yeah.
like the point of view of what's this,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. Yeah.
No, you're explaining it really well that like it's a consciousness, it's frequency,
Yeah.
and it is a lot to do with like what we decide to do within our lifetime, like how we can help
Absolutely.
ourselves to reach that ascension. And yeah,
Absolutely.
not everyone will decide to explore that path. That is
Mm-hmm.
okay. But
Mm-hmm.
for the souls that are drawn to, I find that's where they can get stuck. They know that they want more for themselves. They want to
Yeah.
explore more, but how do I get there?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and so
Yeah.
I feel like this conversation would just help those that are in, just in need of that guidance. Like, well, for some, like for whoever's
Yeah.
drawn to
Yeah.
exploring more of this, it'll just help bring clarity and answers to them.
And absolutely. And that's why the Starseeds came here to help those people with
Yeah.
in whatever way our gifts are able to help them. So that's why we're here, because this all these souls, they just want help and guidance. Like, how do I get there? I don't know what to do. And, that's part of a Starseed's mission, is to guide them in whatever way they can.
Beautiful. That's literally, it's just like there's even so many one-liners that you said a few minutes ago, and it was just like, you might have to say it again for me, but it's like, when you're ready, the teacher appears. There was,
Yeah, when the soul is ready to learn, the teacher appears.
that's the one. Like, I was just like, oh, it's so true. When you're ready, and a lot of the time in the most unlikely place or
Yeah.
person, often when I share a part of my spiritual awakening, I say Tinder, but not in the way that you think. Like I was early 20s, single, and not really looked for anything serious, but all I knew was like, sure, I won't mind going on a few dates here or there. And I went on a date with a beautiful healer. His name is Enda. Like he's just so, so lovely. And like that, we just instantly connected because we had that shared interest. And he was just at the start of his journey. I was at the start of my journey. But then it was him who put me in contact with the shaman, who had a huge impact on my spiritual
Yeah.
journey. And like that was just from an unlikely swipe right on Tinder. And I was
Well, it's
like,
not unlikely, because you would have
yeah,
had a soul contract agreement with Enda to meet him here. Remember, every person that we meet, you and I would have had a soul contract to meet in this lifetime, and for me to come on and talk on your podcast and spread the word. Everyone we meet nobody by chance. Nobody. And these are what soul contracts are. So before we come here and we decide to come here, I'm going to meet you at this point. You're going to teach me this. Then you're going to guide me here. Then I'll guide you there. And everything is agreed. So we meet nobody by chance. Nobody.
I was only in a deep conversation about this yesterday with my partner, because like he's such a grounded person. He won't consider himself spiritual, but he's very open-minded and he's a very conscientious person. And I even say this to
He's
people,
an
like,
anchor.
completely. And I say, like, you don't have to consider yourself spiritual to be a good person. That's the truth.
Absolutely.
But he, like, I would often describe him as very intuitive, even if that's not his language, and like he'd be so anchored in his views on the world. And we're having that discussion about, I believe in everything happening for a reason. He believes in coincidences. Like there's room for it all,
Yeah.
So I'm very curious about what, you kind of said it there about your views, like that there are no coincidences. Everything happens for a reason.
Yeah. And a lot of like, so you very starseed energy. Okay. So all starseeds, in my experience, all starseeds, their partners are what we call anchors. Okay. So they're very grounded, because when we're starseeds, we tend to live up here a lot. Okay. So we tend to pick and have agreements that the partner that we're going to have is an anchor. So they like ground and anchor our energy. So they tend to be very logical, open-minded, maybe not like, as open as we are, but they're not going to block you from growing spiritually. They mightn't understand everything, but they're supportive. But they actually anchor your energy. And I see this all the time with starseeds when you look at their partners. And my husband is the same.
Yeah.
Now, he's a starseed as well, but he just hasn't fully opened up yet. But he's very supportive of what I do. But he's literally my anchor, and we need that. So you see that all the time.
I completely agree. And like, it's really funny when you have like those energies coming together, and it allows for a very safe and supportive environment for the likes of you and I to grow. And even just like how we support our partners then in a way that they mightn't have necessarily received it before as well. Like it's a beautiful union when that happens. But yeah, I loved when you said that. Like, no, you made a soul contract with Enda. You were to meet at that time, and this is how you got into your path.
Yeah.
But yeah, like when you meet these people or when the soul is ready, it just comes like what can feel like in the human experience in the most unexpected way.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's it.
You
And
know?
so I do always say to people, just trust that it will unfold at the right time. Because like us as humans, we want everything now. Like I remember being it's like, so my main clairs are my clairaudience and my clairsentience, but I always wanted to be clairvoyant. And I remember like being like, I just want to be clairvoyant. And no, I am clairvoyant, but it's just not my strongest clair. But I remember like, I just want to be able to see and da, da, da. And I remember a guy say to me, but Ciara, like your gifts, you're clairaudient and clairsentient. These are amazing gifts to have. You have to be appreciative of what you have. Like when you're clairvoyant and you're seeing things, like you then have to decipher what that is, and you then your logical mind has to make sense of it. When you're claircognizance, which is my strongest gift, you just know. You just know. There's no if, when, or but. You just know. So like it is a very human thing to just want things and want things now and not have to put the work in. And that's, that's just us being humans. But I do say to people, just trust that it will happen at the right time. We can't push these things. We can't force them. When we try to force them, we actually end up blocking them. That's what happens. So I say to people, just trust that everything will unfold as it's supposed to at the right time. And you just have to, but I in my experience, like the third waves of starseeds, which is kind of like from the late 90s onwards, they're wakening up a lot younger. Like the second wavers tend to have their spiritual awakenings, kind of in their 30s. But for the next wave, they're very young, like you're talking about late teens, early 20s.
Mm-hmm.
But look, things will always open up when they're supposed to at the right time.
Yeah, no, that is so lovely. And for those then that do feel deeply connected then to the galactic energies, and like when you're working in that space quite a lot, how do you remain grounded in the human experience?
That is one of my hardest issues because I'm always up there. So I actually find it like that's one of the things I really have to work on, is to keep my energy grounded. And it's funny, like I don't have much of I don't really feel a connection to Earth as such, as in the sense I haven't had my only earthly lifetimes were Atlantis, Lemuria, and Egypt. So I don't like when you're doing things and you're talking about like I'm calling in your ancestors, I'm immediately calling in the Galactic Beings and the like I don't have a very earthly connection, so grounding my energy is a bit of a struggle for me. So I have to do my practices. Like I have to do my grounding practices. And I do find that can be a struggle for starseeds as well. It's really important to do your grounding practices and stuff. So yeah, that is one of the things I have to work on a lot.
Yeah. Because like how it can show up a lot for people, and I'm sure you're the same, you would have experienced a lot with clients and perhaps even in yourself, is experiences of anxiety or just not feeling like a sense of belonging. And I think this can also be the same for earthly beings. They're just so used to connecting to those higher frequencies that do exist beyond the body. But it is important, just for your own health, your own safety, your own experience, to take the time to ground, to be in this, to be safe, to recognize your body as a safe space. And so are there any like particular practices that you'd be drawn to?
Well, for me personally, the best things that work for me is just being out in nature. Like being out in nature is the best grounder for me. It just really, and because you have to remember as well, and I have to remind myself this all the time. Like I'm here as a human to have this earthly experience. I need to embody that.
Yeah.
We need to embody being human, and so yeah, being out in nature is just one of the best things for me. I know I'm not a sea swimmer, but I know sea swimming is a really good way to ground your energy. So I'll just tend to have like really cold showers, and I just put maybe a little bit of Epsom salt or sea salt in the bottom of the shower, and kind of that works for me. Or I don't get in a lot of time to have baths these days with the 3 kids, but like having an Epsom salt bath, sitting with yourself and shutting the mind off. I struggle with that a lot. And I think a lot of starseeds do as well. They tend to have that ADHD brain where it's just like constantly going. So a big struggle with me is just sitting in stillness. I have to push myself to do that. But I find when I do that, I'm completely in the body and I'm completely grounded. So I have to make the effort and do that. But that's what works for me. I know different people are different, but nature is one of the best ways to just ground. And remember, grounding is just about coming back into the body, just coming back down into the body and connecting in with Mother Earth. So yeah, just being out and putting your feet on the grass and just literally visualizing your energy coming back down into the body. That's the best way.
And it's just a really healthy practice to have, you know, to come back into the body. And even if someone has gone through like a traumatic experience, you know, that can even feel like an outer body experience. You can just take that time to recognize your body again as your safe space, your anchor.
It is using your breath.
Using your breath.
The breath is so powerful, you know, just connecting in with the breath. And yeah.
No, so important. There was one more question actually that I would like to dive into, and it might be kind of jumping a little bit, but I wrote down even the names of some of the galactic beings that you would have shared, say, on your social media. So the Hadarians, the Galactic Federation of Light, the Blue Avians. How did you learn about these different beings?
Okay, well, with some of them, they would have made contact with me. For instance, the one, I'll just give it again my own experience. So the Lyrans were the very first ones that made contact with me. And it was through a meditation and it just came in. I actually have his picture up here looking at me.
Wow.
He came in as he's a big white lion, but I knew it was galactic, if that makes, it's very hard to describe. So that was the very first being so I was just Googling, I was just literally researching and I came across the Lyrans and I was like, oh my God, it just, when you get that confirmation, it just hits different. You just get that. And because I'm very claircognizance, I just knew, there was no question. I was like, that's the being that came to me, a galactic being, the Lyran. So the Lyrans were the first one that made contact with me. And then the second one was the Andromedans. And again, the Andromedans came to me. I thought actually it was an angelic being at first. Again, this is all through meditation, by the way. Either it's never in, I could be sitting here now after this call and I'd be like, right, lads, come in, and there'd be nothing. There'd be absolutely nothing. I only ever made contact when I'm deep in meditation or at nighttime when I'm in that, I'm not fully awake and not fully asleep. That's the only time I get the contact. Because my mind is just when your mind is too busy, they can't connect in. So it always happens to me when I'm in those states. So the Andromeda beings came in next, and I thought they were angels. They looked more human looking to me, but I knew they weren't angels. They actually had wings. And so I was researching, I was like, it's Andromeda. And again, so when they make contact with you, like with the angels, they will send, with the angels will send you the feathers or the white feather or the 111 numbers. And this is what they do. When they first make contact, and you're open, they will guide you. So literally, immediately I found Andromedans and I was like, that's the beings. And I was reading all about them. I was like, oh my God, that is so me. That so makes sense. And then the next beings then after that came in after the Andromedans with the Palladians. And I can only describe these. They look to me like the elves that you see in The Lord of the Rings. So the elves, they were very human looking, beautiful, long white hair. And they actually told me they told me through this meditation that I'm Palladian. So that was the first time I kind of heard of Palladians. And again, I was just so researching. And I done most of my research, by the way, is through Dolores Cannon or Debbie Solaris. That's where I kind of got a lot of my information. And that's then when I started working with these mentors that I mentioned earlier, they were able to piece everything together. But the Arcturian beings then, I've only been working with them probably since January. The Arcturian beings, they're a little bit different to the other galactic beings. The Arcturian beings are very alien looking. So they come in, they've no hair, they've big eyes, and they are really assisting people with the ascension process. They are working with so many people at the minute, just upgrading. I get a lot of upgrades at nighttime. like activations, light body activations, and it's always the Arcturians. So each different star being is very, very different, you know, like across the whole, like we tend to have the not feeling like you fit in, or, you know, all those are normal, but it goes even deeper than that. Like every star being is very different in a sense, you know. So the Arcturians are helping a lot of starseeds at the minute to awaken their gifts and, you know, activate their gifts and stuff. So, but they're the most alien looking. And if they had made contact with me first, I would have been afraid, you know, like it would have scared me. Like if they first made contact like 7-8 years ago, I would have been like, oh Jesus, what was that? But because I was so used to it now, they didn't frighten me because they are very alien looking. Yeah, each one is so different, and they all have different traits and different just different, like the Palladians, for instance, are very heart-centered and they're amazing healers. Like the Palladian, as I said, most healers that come to me are Palladian. They're the most amazing healers. And the Andromedans then are very creative. So they're the arty ones. And we don't have many Arcturian starseeds here, but you know, they'd probably be the most advanced out of all the star races. And the Lyrans tend to be like, they're very, you know, courageous, and they have that warrior energy. And yeah, they're all very, very different, but it's just, it's fascinating. So yeah, I just say to people, just research them. Like the information is there. The likes of Debbie Solaris, she has an amazing website and she breaks them all down, and just reading them, you're like, oh my God, this just makes so much sense.
It either resonates or it doesn't.
It'll either resonate or, but like I would say, if you go to the point of like looking at Debbie Solaris and stuff, then you're doing that for a reason. You wouldn't even go there if it didn't resonate. You know, you'd just be like, that's a load of rubbish, not for me. And that's okay. Like there's no judgment, just everybody is on a different path. But if you're curious enough, like if you're listening to this podcast now and you're like, oh, I'm just curious, that tells you that, okay, you're almost certainly a starseed, and they're just guiding you to this podcast, and they're guiding you now to like ask the questions and do the research and just open, because once you start that, the key opens, and then they're able to bring the teachers, bring the information, you know, all of this. And a lot of it comes in downloads as well. Like, as I said, my cosmic diamond healing was all channeled to me by my guys. So yeah, once you're open to it, then they're able to connect in more.
And it sounds like a lot of it is just trusting your intuition. You know, like you could have easily received the information on cosmic diamond healing, but thought, oh, sure, I have a great imagination, and thought nothing of it. But you learn to really harness your intuition, to believe in your intuition, and look at how far it has brought you so far in this human experience, not just for you, but for others. So I think like a really important lesson is for people to trust in their intuition.
And that wasn't easy for me now, I have to say. It took me a long time to fully trust, because like, you're like, is this just my imagination? And then the logical mind comes in, the ego mind comes in, and you're like, no, that wasn't your thought. That wasn't, you know, because that's why I was saying earlier with the claircognizance, and a lot of people are claircognizance or clairsentience, where they just know or they feel, and you have to really trust that. Like with your clairvoyancy, there's no doubt that you're physically seeing something, or your clairaudience, you're hearing it, so there's no doubt in it. Yeah, you might have to make sense of what that message is, but there's no doubt in you seeing it or hearing it. But with the claircognizance, which most people, I feel, that's their strongest gift, you have to just really trust that, and that's what most people don't do. And that took me a long time to really trust. Like, and still sometimes I question myself. I'm like, is this you know? But you just have to go with it, and you just have to trust. But it does take practice, and it does take a bit of time, because we are only human, aren't we? Like, and so you do. It's a work in practice.
It takes a lot of courage, and even as I was saying to you earlier, like before we even start recording this, like I definitely just admire your courage to share your wisdom, because like that, it took time for you. Like I only learned a while ago that you're only truly sharing your gifts in the last 3 years.
Well, about the galactic stuff. Yeah. Well, look, again, there was that fear of judgment there. For a long time, I was like, I'm not going and speaking about this. People think I'm nuts. And I was literally, they were pushing me. They're like, Ciara, this is what you came here to do. Like, and you need to do it. Like, you need to, this is part of your mission. It's part of your mission to speak about this stuff. But there was a lot of resistance for me there. And even with my cosmic diamond healing, that was channeled to me about 18 months ago. And I only released it there back in January because I'm like, no, who am I to release my own healing? No, I'm not doing it. And there is that like fear of like, because a lot of star seeds, and this is I see this a lot, especially with the angelic. And if you have an angelic link, we do suffer with the ego a lot. Like there's just no ego. It's just you're like, who am I to, and that's why a lot of the angelic star seeds have like abundance blocks, and they struggle with charging too much, and that's one of the blocks that they have to work through. So there was a lot of that resistance there for a long time. Because remember, they first made contact with me 7-8 years ago. I'm only really talking about it now the last 3 years, but they were literally pushing me like it's time. You need to do what you need to do it.
And did you notice huge shifts then since fully expressing your gifts and your authenticity?
Oh yeah, hugely. Yeah. Huge. Well, things have opened up so much more for me. Like my channel has opened up so much more in the last year or two. And yeah, as I was saying to you earlier, that's when even with my Instagram, it's when I was sharing all the galactic stuff, I was just getting more and more people following me. So I was like, okay, well, at least they're not unfollowing me.
Well,
at least someone out there is interested. So it kind of gave me a little bit of confidence to keep talking about it. And if I look at my Instagram posts, the ones that do really well are the ones where I'm talking about the galactic beings. So I'm like, okay, well, at least there's someone out there doesn't think I'm crazy. But look, things are changing so much. Like so many people are opening up so much more to it now. It's more kind of mainstream than it was even like 7-8 years ago. So you don't feel as judged talking about it. But you just I have to be like, fuck it, this is what I came here to do. Like, this is it. Like, I have to speak my truth. I have to be authentic. It either resonates or it doesn't. If it doesn't, that's okay. If it's not for you, that's fine. No judgment, but I have to speak my truth, and I have to speak about what I know is real. And it'll either resonate or it won't,
And when it's for something, like I really believe that we shared this view and this belief that like when you're stepping into that role of a channel, or you're just finally just saying, okay, I'll step into the gift that I came here to share. Like it's not for you. Yes, I suppose your life unfolds in a way that you can just never imagine, in the most beautiful and wonderful way. But like it's for a much bigger consciousness, it's for the community, it's for the energies around you. Like it's just not for you, and that's the only way I can describe it. Like you're the one here to channel it, but it's for a much bigger purpose. So it just takes a lot of courage. So just thank you for that.
Oh, thank you. Well, you said something really good there. Like when we're doing our soul's purpose, when we step into that blueprint, that divine blueprint of what we came here to do, what we're doing is we're actually aligning with that 5D consciousness, that 5D abundance. And when you do that, things just flow. Things are easy. The clients come, the things are just easy. If you're struggling, I'm just talking about people who do air work, by the way, because I'm just taking this as an example. Like if you're struggling with, your events not selling out, or the clients aren't coming, you're not doing your soul's mission. It just may need a little tweak for you to but when you fully commit to doing your soul's purpose, to doing what you came here to do, then you're aligning with that 5D abundance, and everything just opens up.
Yeah.
So when I was doing another job alongside this job for 21 years, I was in the training and education, and I was doing both jobs together. So I wasn't fully committed to this. And I kept getting from the guide, you need to fully commit, you need to fully commit, you need to fully do this. And once I made that decision to step away from the other job, that was like 3 years ago now, once I made that decision, everything opened up for me. Everything opened up. The opportunities came. I was out the door at work. My channel opened up so much more because I had fully stepped into alignment with my soul's purpose blueprint, which is in alignment with that 5D abundance, and then everything just flows. So that's how I always say to people, that's how you're doing your soul's mission. You're happy. It gives you so much joy. Like this gives me so much joy. Like even talking to you today about this just fills me up with joy. I'm so passionate about it because that's my soul's purpose.
Oh, we can feel that for sure. Like God, the energy just oozing out of this conversation. Like we can absolutely feel that passion from you. And like, even for those that, as you said, might be a bit more confused about their purpose, you know, I just think even knowing that when you feel as though you're living in that space of joy and contentness, and you're just doing something you love, you know, that's what the gift is, because that's what's going to ripple out into the universe, you know, and like that's when people do start coming your way. So it's even to like not sweat the little things too much, you know, whether you're a florist or, as you said, in our case, energy healers, musicians, a teacher, like every single role is an opportunity to share healing. Like it doesn't. But to how you know you're aligned is, yes, that feeling of ease comes and
happiness and joy.
Happiness. Yeah, completely.
Completely. If your job isn't filling you up with joy, that's not your soul's purpose. Do you know? Yeah. It's not your soul's purpose. So that's how you know. So, and as you say, you said it rightly there, like even a musician, like you're healing with your voice or the instrument you're playing. You know, and if that brings you so much joy, that's your soul's purpose. You're here to bring joy to the world through your music, you know, or through whatever that may be. If it brings you joy, you know you're on the right track. You know, it's the people who are like in their job and they hate it, and you know that's not your soul's purpose, and that's where the blocks come. That's where the frustrations come. That's when things just don't align, and you know the stress and anxiety, and you know all money stuff comes in because you're on that wrong timeline. You're not living. You're not aligned to your purpose. You know.
And you have to commit. I love when you said that, like you must commit. Again, whether you're the energy healer, you're the musician, you're the florist, you're the teacher, like the second you commit fully is when just life unfolds in a way that you couldn't have even imagined. Like, so
100%.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. I just think those that needed to hear that through this sharing, like it's, you know, it's for them. That was just there's so much in that conversation alone that I'm just like, whoa, you know, like you have a wealth of knowledge, but a wealth of experience as well. And like you like to even share between your own personal experiences, your own professional experiences, you know, just thank you for just being as open and as vulnerable and very grounded. You know, that's definitely the more I'm connecting with you, the more I'm seeing just how grounded you are in your approach and your sharings, which is just something I really appreciate as well. And I feel like a lot of people are going to connect with you. And so for those then that are interested in learning more about themselves, you know, energetically, and they're drawn to work with you, how can they work with you? Do you like, what is it, one-on-ones? Is it groups? How can they?
Well, I've actually set up, and we only launched back in October. So I set up the Soul Star Sanctuary, and this is a membership community because when I went through my spiritual awakening journey, there was no supports, and it's very lonely. You go through different stages of your awakening where it's so confusing. You just don't know what to do. You just don't know what the next steps are. You know, you're getting all these changes. You're not resonating with people, you know, that you used to before, and maybe you lose some friends or your relationship changes, and all of this is happening, and you just don't. No, you're just looking for guidance. And I never had that when I went through my awakening journey. I had to kind of go through like the dark night of the soul, all on my own. And I said to myself, when it comes to the time that I'm in a position to open up a space for people, that's what I'm going to do. And the Soul Star Sanctuary was born, and it's a membership community. I do 2 lives every month. And the lives are on different things. Like the last live there was on Monday. I done an event for the 1111 portal. So we had lots of activations, and there's a light library of meditations to help you guide you through your awakening journey. There's Soul Talk with Ciara, where I talk about all of this stuff that you come across on the spiritual awakening journey. There is the Starseed Academy, where we go through all the different starseeds and how to connect in with them, and different meditations to bring them in and connect in with them. There's a courses section there where it's like courses that you can do at your own time. We have the community forum where you can just chat on different things. We do challenges and just have that, you know, space where you can just come on and have a chat. That launched in October. The mobile app is actually launching on Friday through the App Store, which I'm super excited about. So that's launching through the App Store on Friday. So it's a lovely growing community. And that's probably, that's one massive support. If, you know, I also do one-to-ones I've worked from a little cabin in Baldonnel where I do one-to-ones, and I do group works, one-to-ones, group works as well, different events, sound healing, breath work, Kundalini. I hold wellness retreats across Ireland and across Spain. The Soul Star Sanctuary community I'm very proud of it. I'm putting a lot of work into it. And there's also activations and transmissions section in there where, we're activating your third eye, your crown chakra, your light body, all the different things. So that's it. I've put my heart and soul into it. So that is a beautiful space for people. So that is one of probably the best ways if you're, just starting off with your awakening journey, or even if you're well into your awakening journey, there's so much supports there for you. We have different quizzes on what type of star seed you are and all of that as well. So there's lots of stuff there. So that's probably one of the best ways if you're looking for that support.
Beautiful. Where would they find you then? Is Instagram, Facebook?
Yeah, so Instagram, I'm Awaken with Ciara on Instagram. My website is Mariposa Holistic Wellness. I was always Mariposa Holistic. I've been Mariposa Holistic Wellness for 10 years, but I've kind of started to not evolve away from the name, because the Mariposa is a butterfly in Spanish, and it's all about that transformation. It's my universal sign is the white butterfly. So I'll always be connected to that name, but the Awaken with Ciara kind of fits more the work that I'm doing now, because my work has really changed over the last few years. Yeah. So I'm Awaken with Ciara on Instagram, but my website is mariposaholisticwellness.ie.
Funny that you said that, because even when I was looking, just to message you even today, just the last few times when I was sliding into your DMs, I knew your name was Ciara, but I kept typing in Mariposa.
Yeah.
Because I'll be leaving, and just for our listeners, our viewers, I will be leaving all of Ciara's information in the caption below. You'll find us on Spotify, you'll find us on YouTube, again, where you'll find the links to Ciara and connect with her. But yeah, Ciara, again, just thank you so, so much. Is there any final sharings, wisdom, or just words you'd like to share before we close down the episode?
Yeah, well, I'd just like to say, if anyone is listening and you are going through a tough time at the minute and you're trying to figure things out, the best piece of advice I can give is find your community of like-minded people. And that's super important, because it is a lonely time and we're going through so many shifts and things are really opening up quickly for people. So it can be very confusing and it can be very lonely. So I always just say, just find your community of like-minded people that are, going to evolve with you and grow with you. I didn't have that, as I said, when I went through mine. Nobody I knew was like this back 20 years ago. But so I say to people now, there's so many, if it means just going to a little sound bath event or, whatever that may be, where you can meet like-minded people and get in that little community, because that's super, super important. You can have I just say you have your normal friends and then you have your spiritual friends, and, the spiritual friends are the ones that you can have all these conversations with. So that's really important. So that would be my advice. Just, build your community of like-minded people.
Beautiful. Thank you so, so much. That's such a lovely message. And so I just want to thank you all for listening to our sharing today. If anything resonated, please feel free to share a comment, to share with your friends, your family, or just anyone else that you may feel will resonate with Ciara's wisdom and our conversation today. And just thank you again from my heart to yours. I'm sending you my love always.